Hi, and welcome back. I am so excited to start this conversation about creation. Of all the topics you'll see me discuss here on our channel, creation is the one thing that really gets me fired up. It's the one thing that I can hardly sit when I talk about it. I get so excited. Creation is my therapy. I love it. I've created 5 businesses over the last 15 years. I've designed product lines, had published books. I've created retreats galore. And in all of my creation, I always start with these 3 simple steps we're going to go over next, and I can't wait to share them with you. As we begin our discussion on creation, I'm going to start with the very first thing I do. And for me, creation is so thrilling in the beginning. It's so exciting. It's like a natural high. I do not need drugs. I just need to create. That is my natural happy place. But there are points along the creation and manifestation process that are really hard. And when you hit one of those walls, the first thing I have done in the past is just turn to self-doubt, like, wait, is this even the right thing to create? Is this even the right thing to do? I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought I could do this. And so a long time ago, I promised myself that I would always start with this step. And that first step for me is always to ask God if this is the right thing for me to create and the right thing for me to pursue. Now, in asking God that question, I'm not going to hold it over God's head that if he says yes, everything has to be a success. That's not really fair, because there might be things I need to learn along the way that will help me in a future creation or experience. So I totally accept that it may not fully come into fruition or may not completely succeed. But if he says I'm on my way and this is the right thing, then I do it. And it reminds me of this story in the Bible, and I'm sure you'll all remember Peter walking on the water, since he was the only mortal to ever walk on the water. But what I love is that in the beginning, he saw Christ out on the water, and he saw him doing something he'd never seen before. And I love this about Peter. Here he sees somebody walking on water, an impossible feat. And somewhere in him, there is a thought that says, hey, maybe I could do that. And I love the heart of this man that had that kind of courage and vision. And so he said to Christ, Lord, bid me to come, and I will come. And Christ immediately said, come. And so Peter got that confirmation that this was a good thing to try and a good thing to do, and he stepped out of that boat. Bless his soul. How he had the guts to do it, I don't know. It's not like Christ said, hey, first let me teach you about the laws of physics and how you could make this work. No. He just believed in himself and believed Christ said he could. So he stepped out and he did it. He walked on the water. And that's such a fabulous story to me. Now, this painting depicts what happens next. I don't know if you can see this very well. I got to watch the light. But I love this painting. When Peter falls, this is an image of Christ reaching down into the water to assist him back up. And it says that when Peter started going down, immediately Christ reached out and helped him. And a lot of people talk about how in that moment Peter had a lack of faith. And I have a good friend, Dr. Jeff O'Driscoll, who taught me something important about that. He said, you know what? Faith is believing in something you can't or haven't seen. And at that point, Peter had seen that he walked on the water. That was no longer about faith. That was about Peter questioning himself. Instead of, could I do this? Now he was saying, should I be doing this? And he said that's what he feels made Peter sink, that he started to doubt himself. And I love that concept, and I believe that that is a common problem in manifesting our dreams and our creations into existence, because we start down that path and then we start questioning ourselves. So there's another little principle to tuck in your wealth of knowledge about creation. Don't go into self-doubt. So first, get confirmation that this is what you should do and this is a good path for you. Then step out of the boat. Just do it. Do it. The second thing, the second and third steps have come to me from looking at the creation of the world. So if you read that account in the Bible, you will also realize that there were two things God did before anything was created physically. The first thing was, it says that he created it spiritually first. So what does that look like to spiritually create something? Well, I can tell you it starts in your mind. It starts in your third eye. It starts with your intuition. You're going to have to imagine it. You're going to have to think it through. Like, if I could see that in existence today, what would it look like? I'll give you an example. I created a Wholeness Center where we rent out retail space for practitioners to come, a shared office environment and a classroom that people can rent. And it took me 6 months just to find the building. I knew that it was the right thing to do. I knew God wanted me to do it. I had confirmation. I stepped out of that boat. I started looking, but it took a long time to find the right location. And during that time, I would get discouraged or get frustrated, but then I would stop and start thinking, okay, what do I want this space to look like? What is it going to feel like? What does it need to be? When people come to a class in that space we're going to create, how's it going to feel? What are they going to think about when they're there? What will be the energy of the room? What will be the energy of the audience? What will be the types of classes we'll teach? Who would want to be inspired to come there? And I just started creating all the details surrounding it that I could. And eventually the space did manifest, and I tell a lot of stories about that building. I learned so much building it. But that was one of them. I visualized it over and over and over again, and down to the last piece of it. So create it spiritually first. The second thing God did was that he spoke it. And it was crazy. The idea came to me to build this center about 2 weeks before this huge retreat that I was putting on and sponsoring. And so I started thinking about this new idea, but I still needed to focus on the old idea and make sure this retreat happened. And so I would work on the new idea a little bit every day, but finally I just was getting so stressed about the retreat. I just prayed to God and said, I hear you. I accept the calling. I will build this space, but could you just give me 2 weeks, because I've got this big retreat coming up and I just can't think about it right now. Would you allow me to put it on the back burner? And what I felt in my heart was that God said, yes, but tell them you're doing it. And my first thought was, are you kidding? I don't even know what I'm doing. Tell them what? Tell them I have an idea. Tell them I'm going to start creating something I don't even know how to create, and I just kept thinking, here are all my students. These are people that trust me, that look up to me, that follow me, and I don't want to let them down. I don't want to say I'm going to do something I can't do. And so I was really resistant. And so the next day I prayed again, please God, just please let me put this aside. Is that okay? And again, he said, yes, it's okay, as long as you tell them you're doing it. And I'm telling you, that was as scary as putting on the whole retreat. I was the last speaker to kind of wrap up the retreat, and on the final day, I said, okay, for those of you who would like to know where I'm heading, I'm creating something new in my life, and this is my dream. And so I just got some photo off the internet of some wellness place and put it up and said, I'm going to create something like this. I'm not sure how it will look, and I'm not sure exactly what it will be, but I just want you to know that this is my dream and my goal for the next year. Well, as soon as I was done, that was the last thing in my talk, everybody started clapping, and I did not even get off the stage before I burst into tears. I started crying right there in front of everybody. It was the scariest thing, one of the scariest things God has ever asked me to do. And I didn't understand the principle behind it, but I'll tell you what, on the days when things were rough and hard and the days I wanted to quit and not finish that center, I remembered that I had told people and I did not want to let them down. And by speaking it, by daring to speak it, that shows the heavens how committed you are and how willing you are to work on this project. And so I'm going to challenge you to do those 3 steps. First of all, get the confirmation you need, whether that's making your pros and cons list, getting your message from God, whatever it is you need to know that this is the path you want to take. Secondly, start creating it visually. Start picturing everything you can about it, every detail, how everything will feel, how it will smell, how it will look. And then the third thing, finally, start speaking about it. Tell your family, tell your friends, put it on Facebook, wherever you need to speak it, to prove to yourself that you are behind this 100% and you are not going to give in. You're going to keep working on this until you manifest this very thing into existence. I hope these ideas help you. I would love to hear what you're creating. I'm all about creation and I get excited for other people. So put in the comments below what you're going to create. Speak it out loud right here on our channel, and let us know how we can support you to make that dream happen. And if you want to more updates as we add more creation videos on the channel, just subscribe below and you'll get notified if you click that bell every time we release something new. So I hope this helps, and I'm going to send lots of love and light and energy to whatever you're manifesting in your life.